HomeShow Garden Pros, helping to turn your thumb green.
Well, hello out there. This is Dany Milliken. I'm the HomeShow Garden Pros host here. We have our super fun video version of our radio show. I'm at home. As you can see, the lovely art, fun times. You can see, ooh, there's something cool. Look at that. Anyway, feel free to peruse the art on your own as you listen to the great advice we'll be giving out here. This is a show about gardening, and so that's what we do. We love kind of the community of Houston gardeners. There's a lot of different people doing a lot of fun stuff. And Home Show Garden Pros is all about getting great knowledge specialists in front of you, letting you hear from people who really know their stuff. On the radio show, we have these awesome co-op members. Yeah, they're those great mom and pop retail shops that you love going to get great advice and buy beautiful plants. So just to rattle the list off, the Enchanted Forest, Enchanted Gardens family down southwest. You got in Katy, Nelson Nursery and Water Gardens. On 249, just past Silhouette, there's plants for all seasons. In Kingwood, there's Kingwood Garden Center and Warren Center Gardens. And then up 45, just south of Conroe, north of the Woodlands, you have Nature's Way Resources Garden Center. So just a plethora of phenomenal garden specialists here on the Facebook, YouTube, however you're watching this, however you're consuming this video. We like to lift up awesome garden clubs as well as nonprofits that do garden-related, agricultural-related stuff. So without further ado, here is, ladies and gentlemen, Meg.
I'm not sure I like that intro. No, I'm kidding. Thank you for having me. I'm Meg Tapp with the Garden Club of Houston, and I love coming on this show. This really is a fun time because there's great questions, and we get a lot of good information out there, and I learn something every single time I do it.
Well, if you weren't so fun, then we wouldn't be making this so fun. So appreciate what you're doing. Well, so do you have do you have a special title at the Garden Club of Houston?
I have the biggest title in the world. No, I'm the president of the Garden Club of Houston. That's the biggest title in the world.
Whoa. El Presidente. Madam
know, so you'll need to
President.
Yeah, so call me Mrs. Tapp. No more Meg. No.
What?
No, you can call me Meg. Always. Always. We've been friends so long. You can call me the old.
Just so long. The many memories of Meg and I. No, Meg does a great job. Pretty much any. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I've known you so long. I remember when that artwork wasn't behind you.
Oh yeah, that's right. When it wasn't even created yet.
There you
go. One of them's real old. The little castle thing right there. That's a fun one that my wife's dad's dad got made. So it's a cute little drawing of their family when they were little babies. Anyway, so Meg, what you know, everybody's got kind of their favorite type of gardening. You know, I love food gardening, huge food gardening fan. Well, how would you describe yourself as far as where you find your interests, your strengths in gardening?
I do love food gardening myself. I love that. We have 4 raised beds at my own house, and I can actually see them out my window right now. And I love that. That's very fun. And it's such a quick turnover because with each new season, then you get to plant something else. So I really like that. But I also love native pollinator gardens. So I have a whole thing going on. So right now I can see birds, bees, and butterflies right now out my window. And it truly brings me joy to be able to look at that and see that. And it's easier than a lot of people I think would think because they're perennials generally, or plants that reseed themselves if they're annuals because they're native, so they're meant to live here with not a lot of fuss. So once you get it established and get it going, it's pretty much not a hard thing to maintain, but brings you so much fun because different times of the year you get different birds or different butterflies or whatever. But I think I'm torn between those two. Vegetable gardening. Fruit I do not have great luck with. I got really killed with the citrus with the freeze, but food gardening and then native pollinators.
Do you find those two synchronize well? Because it sounds like a lot of our food gardening needs to be pollinated, and here you are providing all the pollinators. So I'm sure that you find that those two merge or sync or mix, or it's a nice medley.
I think they meld.
Yes. Yes, that's a good
No,
one.
yes,
That's good.
there we go. That's my word of the day calendar. I mean, no, yes, it is perfect because I do have and my where the vegetables are right near them is a lot of the pollinator gardens, and it really is fun to see the bees go through and do what they do, and the butterflies, and even like little things you wouldn't think of are pollinators, like even ants or something like that. That any kind of bugs that are on your plants, they still are pollinating because they're going from plant to plant. But anyway, yes, it all works together to make one big happy yard. And it's surprising how you can fit it all into a yard. It doesn't have to be, like a designated, farm patch or something. You can put squash right there in the middle of your in your beds. So you don't have to
Yeah,
set it
I think
aside.
it was around the time when I started being influenced by you, is I converted one of my veggie beds to a lot more flower focused. And so it has a lot of flowers in it. And now I see wasps kind of come in and eat caterpillars all the time. Saw some blue jays. I have bird baths near all the flowers. Blue jays coming in, swooping in, munching on some caterpillars too. So it's cool to see that kind of like nature protecting it. If I encourage nature, nature kind of protects what I got going on. So I love that. And
No,
I'm sure you
very
taught me
true.
all about that. Yeah.
Totally. Actually,
Yeah.
just
Well,
the
that's
other day,
awesome.
we had a hawk sitting on one of the chairs in the back on the little patio, and it was waiting. And I was like, "Oh, please don't get one of the birds I care about." I think it was eyeing a squirrel.
Oh, good. Good. Because that squirrel's probably going to eat one of your tomatoes anyway. So
Is, is your
nice.
dog talking to you?
No, my daughter was house sitting and she brought the vacuum over to my house to fix it because she got a big chunk in there. And so I fixed it, but my wife had to come get the vacuum and take it over to the house. So that's what was happening.
Thought it was your dog.
All
I
right,
had to
cool.
interject. Enough about
The
us.
dogs are here walking around. Yeah. So here on Home Show Garden Pros, it's not Home Show Returning Vacuum Pros, although that may be a great name for the next show that we do here. So maybe we'll talk to the producers about that. Anyway, so you guys have any cool events coming up? I know every year y'all do Bulb Mart. Y'all have graffiti this year. Really cool. Or did that already happen?
Yes. So we have two big kind of, well, we have two big educational things, and one of them's a fundraiser, which is the Bulb and Plant Mart. So that is every fall in October. And last year it was at Sawyer Yards, and this year it's always been at, or for the past, I don't know how long, it's been at St. John's, the Divine Church on River Oaks Boulevard in Westheimer, and it's going back there again. So I never get this right with the camera, but here is it to the right.
Oh, nice.
But anyway, so that's the little brochure. But if you go to our webpage, which is gchouston.org, it will pop right there, and it'll have all the information. And this is very timely because it's a plant sale. It's an in-person plant sale, and it's great because some of the things are grown from our members' gardens, so they grow here, and everything does grow here. It's stuff just for this area. We don't ship it. Everything is grown right here, so it all works in this area. So there's a plant mart where you can go buy things, but there's also bulbs that you can pre-order, and those, the pre-order goes live on June 15th, so that's right around the corner. So once again, if you go to
Oh, wow.
gchouston.org, you can click there and you'll see it's a whole pretty catalog, and it'll show you all the different bulbs. We have tons of amaryllis, and if you order, I think it's $100 or more, then you get 10% off. And so we have this book that we put forth every year. This is last year's book. It's not good lighting, but and it's called the Horticulture Guide, and it has everything you'd want to know about. I mean, it just tells you every plant in the world that we have, and like how it grows different. Anyway, it's got everything we have and some of the things we don't have, but that grow well here. So we put this out every year, and it's actually very valuable. I was looking to be able to show you that, and I have these. They're from like 19. I mean, we've been doing this for so long. These were like when they used to be little kind of pamphlets, and now
Oh,
it's a
wow.
full-on book because it's gotten so big and expansive with all the information. But anyway, everybody who pre-orders gets one of those for free, and when you come to the mart, you get one for free. But if you want an extra one, like to give to your sister, then you'd have to buy it. But anyway, so if you go to the website gchouston.org, starting on the 15th of June, then pre-orders are open, and it's better to bundle your order in one bundle so you can get up to the $100 if you want the 10% off. And like I said, we don't ship. You come to the mart to pick up your pre-order bulbs, and that gives you a chance also to shop for the plants while you're there.
That's right. And I'll be there answering gardening questions, signing all the autographs, blessing people's babies as much as they want, and also shopping. So look forward to that. Security, that, sir, please leave. So no, see the shirt?
Okay.
No,
okay.
but what a wonderful event it is every year. And I'm so happy that it's live again, that we're kind of seeing the light at the end of this really, really terrible tunnel. There's some tunnels that aren't that bad, but then there's some that are really bad.
Bad. Well, this one is going to be great. Garden Club. I mean, it's perfect. And we also, you can go to Facebook, and I'm bad at this. Let me see what our Facebook one is. It's GCH for Garden Club of Houston, Bulb and Plant Mart on Facebook. And that has information. And then Instagram, we're Garden Club of Houston on Instagram. And those are other ways you can follow us on what the happenings at Bulb and Plant Mart. And Bulb and Plant Mart is, like I said, one of our big fundraisers, and we raise money to give back to the community. So we give back to smaller nonprofits. So we give back to some of the big ones that you would think, like Rienzi and the Museum of Fine Arts and the Cockerel Butterfly Center and gardens at the Houston Hospice and the Pollinator Garden at Hogg Bird Sanctuary. So those are like the big ones you would think. And then we give back to smaller ones throughout the year.
I can think of one that really appreciates the grant that received from y'all, and it's OBA. The last time we had the show, we were talking about our Spanish language workshops. Well, those are all able to happen because of the Garden Club of Houston. So nice job, everybody. Good work. And I don't know if you know this, but it was very popular. And we were featured on
That was a really cool idea.
We were featured on Univision.
Univision. That is really cool.
Yeah, really awesome stuff. Well, Meg, we're going to start answering our questions. So I hope you're so excited. I know everybody else is because they're tired of listening to me. All right, so here we go. Question number 1. Let's see it. All right, this one's from Aaron. My job is to read them. So Aaron says, we live at a newly built home, and every spring and summer, my bushes are getting these brown spots. They show up after heavy rain or watering. Wondering, what would be the best course of treatment for this? I'm not home enough to rake daily. I tried picking, trimming all the leaves with brown spots last year, but they keep coming back. So here's a picture that Aaron also sent, and it's obviously a brown spot on a ligustrum leaf. So you can't quite see that too soon, but you can see kind of the yellowing and the brown spots. So Meg, what's your take?
I do not know the answer to that because I don't have brown spots. Everything of mine honestly has died, and I had to redo it. But I do know that oftentimes diseases can transfer of the splashing of the water. So that is one thing.
Yes.
If after a rain or you watered it, then it could be something in the soil that's splashing up and getting, bouncing off the dirt and getting on the leaf. But Dany probably knows the answer. But if you don't have access, or if you do have access to, oh gosh, I can't think of the name. What's one of your partners that's on Renwick and Bel Air?
Southwest Fertilizer.
Oh, Southwest Fertilizer. If you're in that neck of the woods, you can always cut a leaf off and put it in a baggie and take it to them, and they'll tell you what you're.
One thing we notice if we kind of zoom past the leaves there is we see some black mulch, and bacterial leaf spot is usually a problem with plants that are of lower health. So ligustrums are very, very hardy plants. And so a lot of times we see problems on them when we have uncared for plants. So Meg knows all about the benefits of composting. And so if you can compost every once in a while, especially if you were using black mulch before, you'll have this nice dark material, but then, you'll do something good for your plant. So on ligustrum, you can get rid of brown spot, bacterial leaf spot all together just by mulching with compost for 1 year, and then go to a native mulch or the Black Velvet by Landscaper's Pride. So that would be my best bet for these folks.
That is good advice. I got very lucky I do mulch like 3 times a year because first of all, I think it looks so great, but I know it's really good for the soil and which is in turn good for your plants. But I got so lucky because I put down like 3.5 inches, a lot of mulch, maybe like 5 days before that freeze came through. And it just happened to be when I had already planned to do it. And so I really didn't lose as much as I I lost it from the ground up, but under the mulch and under the ground, it was all still alive. So that really did save me in that freeze.
Absolutely. Yeah, mulch radiates heat as well. So it's one of those things that if you want to protect plants, be like Meg, mulch. And it protects summer plants as well from heat stress. So great move there. And if you're growing ligustrum, good for you. They are a pollen making plant that most people have a very strong allergy to. So during ligustrum flowering season, I'm always loading up on allergy medicine because I'll get really bad allergies because of them. So I ripped them all out of my house, not only because I hate them, but also because they create so much pollen for my health problems. So okay, so we actually have had 3 or 4 questions about bacterial leaf spot on ligustrum. And so I'm really happy that we kind of got to handle that. And the big thing you got to do is just mulch with better mulch. Quit using black mulch. So Meg, tell us about black mulch. What do you know about it? Do you use it very often?
Yeah, if you hate ligustrum, then you hate black. Well, no, yes, nobody likes it. It's not good. It's not a natural thing. The best thing you can do is just mulch with compost. It goes back into the soil and helps all that microbial activity ramp up and keeps everything just so much happier. There's no need to put anything other than completely top quality compost on top of your soil and your plants, because you love your plants and your soil, and the best thing you can do is have happy soil. I mean, if you take care of your soil, think of taking care of your soil more than you take care of your plants, because it really will help you from the ground up. If you can have healthy soil, I mean, I just can't even stress it enough that if you just use nice compost for your mulch, because mulch is just I think a lot of times what we think of mulch is that chunky wood that we all used to know, but it's really just almost I mean, a lot of things can be mulch, but compost is, in my opinion, the best mulch.
I fully agree. That's a very, very, very great approach to take if you want plant health. And, if you spend a couple $100 more a year on your soil, you'll spend a lot less on your plants. And so, the money you'll spend on your plants then becomes kind of like just the fun plants, getting the things you really love, the things you're wowed by, and not just replacing your boxwoods every year or things like that. So that's great advice there from Meg. We're going to go on to question 2 here, if you're ready. Looks like you may have something to say, though.
Imagine that. Did you ever read that book? It's called The Soil Will Save Us. Have you ever read that book?
Yeah, by Kristen Olson.
Yeah, I don't know who it's by, but it's maybe, I don't know. But I thought it was pretty good. It kind of talks about how the soil will save you, and it just not all parts of all books you think you're like, oh, I totally agree, but it's all about how everything that's going on under the soil and how it's so important to manage that properly, and then everything falls into place, kind of. But if anyone's looking for a summer reading, The Soil Will Save Us, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, and it's a pulls you along too. So it's science based and story based, but it's really interesting. So, and it's a very well written book as well. So it's one of those. It's not like some nonfiction books you got to glue your eyes open to read it, right? But this one's not like that. So great book recommendation. Can't wait to get the Garden Pros book club going. That'll be nice. First book, Soil Will Save Us. Okay, second question. Here we go. You ready? All right, this one is from Richard. Richard's got actually kind of a stumper here. And I have a lot of small flying black bugs in my St. Augustine grass. Is this a good problem or a bad problem? You get the old good problem. That's a good one, Richard. All right, so let's see that picture of the little bug. I guess he's got very red grass. I'll say that. I mean, that grass
his
is weird.
first
So
issue.
maybe this may be his lawnmower, but anyway, you can see the bug there. So do you think this is a good problem? And maybe could you explore what a good problem means? No, I'm just kidding. So is this bug an issue? So just so everybody knows at home, what we're looking at is a 2-line spittle bug. And so going from there, Meg, any thoughts?
I've never heard of a 2-line spittlebug, but I like it. I like the name. I actually thought when I was listening to the question without seeing the photo, I thought he would have chinch bugs, because I thought that could be his problem. But a 2-line spittlebug, you'll have to take that. And I'd love to, I actually really want to hear about that.
Okay, so spittle bugs are kind of interesting because they make like a foamy mess and it decomposes plant material. So as adults, though, they are detrivores. They're eating the decomposition of plant material. So the same thing as doodle bugs or millipedes or something like that. The problem is their larvae are pretty, well, not quite aggressive, but pretty voracious plant eaters, leaf eaters. They don't eat the stems, they don't eat the roots, they eat the leaves. And so if he's seeing a lot of these, he might need to do something about it. The great news is that BT is an easy treatment, and these bugs do fly, kind of like ladybugs. They fly like not very long in little arcing motions. And so if you're seeing a lot of two-line spittle bugs, that means that you have a lot of larvae in your lawn. And a great thing to do would be overspray with molasses. Since they're eating the leaves, it's going to be less of a problem. If they were sod webworms that eat kind of the trunk of the grass, that's a little more scary. But so, in the range of problems here, Richard, I think you've probably got a good problem, but that's in the range of problems. So go ahead and overspray with molasses.
That is always a good thing to do for your lawn, honestly. I don't think there's
Yeah,
ever a wrong time.
I have very fond memories of teaching a greenhouse class to the Garden Club of Houston that Jane Curtis, your dear friend, lined up. And she was like, I taught the class and she was like, okay, now tell them about molasses. Which I thought was a great thing. I was like, oh, that class wasn't good enough, I guess. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a nice try, sir.
now teach us about molasses. But molasses has a lot of benefits. So maybe we'll do a molasses benefit battle here in a little bit after we get through these questions, and we can list some of the benefits.
And sod webworm, I would think we're going to be in for some sod webworm soon with all this, the rain, toward the end of the summer.
Yeah, the thing is hopefully because it was so bad last year, we're not going to see it as intensely, but I know we're going to have a terrible fungal year. Okay, we're going to keep on pressing through these questions though, instead of prophesying like we're doing. But we want to be aware of stuff. So here's the next question. All right, question number 3. All right, it's from Megan. Wait, Meg, is this you? No. All right, it's from Megan. New gardener here. What should I grow in my veggie beds this summer? Or do the plants hate the heat as much as my husband? Ooh, is that a zing or is that like a funny joke?
I was going to say, Megan hates her husband? That's what I took from that. No, I'm kidding.
No, she just thinks her husband's a big wimp.
I love new gardeners, and I'm so happy you got in here, Megan. This is so fun. So it's very hot right now. So it's this is not the prime part, but I don't want to give a nod to your husband at all. But you can okra. You can always do now. You can do okra from seed now. You can do eggplant transplants if you hurry, like in the next week, and then we'll be done. Arugula you can do always from seed.
Whoa,
because
cool.
Because you don't, it doesn't need to mature. You can pick it whenever you want to pick it. It doesn't have to mature into a fruit. So if it gets too hot, then you just pick the leaves and eat it. You can always do microgreens. That's what I do when kind of my off space and my off time or between plantings is microgreens can be anything that grows. So it could be carrots, celery, even things that we don't really grow here, like celery, not corn, peas, broccoli,
sunflowers.
Sunflowers. So you just get a mix of seeds, and then you get a little plot of, I don't know, like a foot by a foot or foot and a half by foot and a half, and sprinkle the seeds, a mixture of seeds, and then just lightly cover it with some soil, and then water it in. And then it takes, I don't know, you'll be harvesting microgreens in about a week. And then it's very fun and very, very rewarding. And that's what I end up doing. And I don't grow lettuce, I grow microgreens, and that's what I use for salad. So it's just microgreens and then, the whatever tomatoes or whatever you're going to put in your salad. But microgreens is very rewarding and good on a sandwich. But otherwise, you also use this time to be getting your soil ready for the fall planting. So you can plant in August you can like do another round of tomatoes. So you'll have winter tomatoes, and you can do other things. So I would do the few things I said. You could do corn. I don't know if that's kind of a commitment, but, and otherwise do microgreens and get your soil ready for the fall. And that would be putting compost, putting expanded shale, and just, you could send it off to get it tested if you wanted to, if you're worried about its composition. That would be all stuff you could do right now.
Well, great thoughts there. And some other plants that I'm always a big fan of growing in the summertime, depending on how much you want to tend, are sweet potatoes and black-eyed peas, purple whole peas. Those things take up a lot of space and they'll cover your soil sufficiently. If you are going to do what Megan's husband wants to do, which is stay out of the garden completely in the summer, you've got to put down a couple inches of mulch. And this is just a thing that will really help your garden come August, is it'll have turned a lot of that mulch into soil food. And so that's one thing to do. But Megan, I join Meg, the president of the Garden Club of Houston, that's here with us today, in welcoming you as a new gardener to the world of gardening. We all love new gardeners, and a lot of y'all, are sticking with it, but we're here to help. So on our Facebook page, we love kind of messaging. I message with people all the time, kind of giving advice. And on our website, homeshowgardenpros.com, there's the Ask a Pro button. In addition to the radio show that's live every single Saturday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We are on Sports Radio 610. We also do this, and we're here to help. So any questions you need answered, please don't hesitate. Megan, that's for you, or anybody watching. We do love answering questions that are in our comments section here on the live show as we go. So we're going to zip over to Perry's question now. Perry always asks a question. Really appreciate Perry always tuning in with us. But here's Perry's question. Oh gosh, they got it up on the screen. Hey, Dany, as I've shared before, I moved to a new house in Conroe about a year and a half ago. The old owners are what I would call shrub people. So those of you who don't know, they're the people that live in the shrubs and are always watching. Okay, shrubs. Yeah, they're tiny. You can see, there's one of them next to a small garden gnome. All right, they were big fans of a variety of viburnums. Oh my gosh, viburnums, so stinky in the freeze. Pretty crazy. All right, I've now discovered that I like to send out shoots and have baby viburnums coming up everywhere for the main route. How can I effectively get rid of this plant and kill it to prevent us from having to deal with the problem ongoing? So effectively, Perry wants to know how to deal with these viburnum effectively.
But it's gone, right? I mean, it's gone in the freeze. You're asking how to get rid of the little shoots?
I think that he's seeing shoots everywhere. So the viburnums didn't die in the freeze, just the top killed them, right? So it's like all of them are kind of popping up a little bit, but they've started spreading, big word here, rhizomally. So if I'm you, Perry, I'm getting out what's called stump and vine killer, and some of the bigger trunks, I'm treating it. It comes in a bottle with a little like applicator tip, and so it's kind of a paste. So you smear a little bit of paste on top of the trunk after you've cut it down, and that gets sucked into the roots, and that'll kill much of the plant. But you still got to treat it a bunch. What's nice is you don't have to spray it everywhere, so it's not affecting bugs or other shrubs. So generally stump and vine killer. All the Garden Pro locations have it. Friendswood Hardware, Plants for All Seasons, Southwest Fertilizer, they're going to have it. Oh, there, he's got a comment to your comment. The viburnums came roaring back. They're sending us babies through the roots all over the yard and the neighbor's yard now. I want to get rid of those. So stump and vine killer. It's not a spray. It's a little squeeze bottle. Looks kind of like a glue bottle. So if you're like Perry and you're into killing babies, this is the thing to do. Baby viburnums.
Do you have to nick it? Would it help? Do you nick it to get in there, or is
No.
it just enough to put it on there?
Let's say that my hand is the viburnum. So you
Your
like
hand is the viburnum.
Oh, I meant to say it with you. Sorry. We chop it, and then all of a sudden, movie magic, it's chopped, and then this open wound is where I squirt the stuff. So right. I don't nick it on the side. I just I cut down the bigger trunks. So if you got to do it 50 times, Perry, you got to do it 50 times. But this is the way you'll actually kill the roots off, is stump and vine killer. Poison ivy, greenbrier vine, a lot of things like that. This will work. Chinese tallow tree, if you're somebody who's tried to remove one of those. They can be pretty nasty. Even some of the citrus trees that people have cut down, instead of removing them, and they've got trifoliate orange coming up everywhere, it's another thing you can do on that. And it's not a spray. So stump and vine killer. I hope that helps.
I'm going to make a note of
Yeah.
that.
He also says, after he said about they came roaring back, he says, ha, ha, ha. See, there it is. See, nice. Okay. Thanks, Barry. Hey, love all your questions. Always great questions, man.
That question was probably from Perry's neighbor, because Perry's neighbor is probably like, wait a minute, his stuff is under the fence on my yard.
He like hacked his Facebook account. Nice. What a world we live in. All right, here we go. On to question number 4 here on Home Show Garden Pros. This is from Brad. Okay, so Brad, I noticed this yesterday in my yard. What is it and how do I treat it? I need to find out. Seems like it could be a fungus problem like you've been talking about on the podcast. Oh, Brad thinks we have a podcast. Awesome. Also, is there a bigger problem that's causing this? Brad, I love where your mind is. So to me, Brad's there's this picture. You see the little like semicircle rainbow shape of darker material there. That's anytime you see a semicircle, you're looking at something that's a fungal problem. So great job, Brad, identifying that. Meg, what are your thoughts here?
I'm going to talk about my friend compost again. So
yes,
if you can put compost top dressing. So when you mulch using compost, that's like where you would put 3 inches or something all over your soil. But when you do it on your lawn, it's just a top dressing. So you sprinkle it around, and that helps with a lot. I mean, that even helps with thatch buildup. It helps with all kinds of stuff. Once again, getting the microbial activity going in your soil and helping the grass. So if the healthier your lawn is, but it's been tricky. I mean, nobody should be admonished because it's all this rain, everything. It's been hard to keep your soil from getting washed out kind of with all the rain. But I would put compost top dressing on for sure. Just start doing that now, but for always. Just it's a good thing to do with your lawn to keep it as healthy as it can be.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, that's a solution. So we're going to have a really bad compost fall, late summer and fall. I think not compost, a great compost fall, because we're going to have a very bad fungal fall. So fungal diseases are loving the kind of damaged grass from the freeze, all this rain. And then I'm seeing compacted soil everywhere. You see compacted soil when your grass isn't growing as fast. You have bare patches, things like that. So you have any of those kind of pre-warning signs, then it's really important that you compost top dress. If you can't get that done, Humates Plus from Microlife. There's also another Microlife product that you need to start using now as your fertilizer. And it's wonderful. It's a great lawn fertilizer. It's called Microlife Brown Patch, but it's not like after you've already got the brown patch. It's something you put out all the time. They call it brown patch because they've put this combination of fungi and bacteria in it that actually eat the brown patch fungi. And so, and the take all patch fungi. And so it's a really wonderful thing to put out just from now until winter, until you need to winterize. And so that's really what I'm encouraging people to do to avoid the problems Brad is having. Brad, I do appreciate that you mentioned the podcast. We have our radio show recorded, and it's on iTunes. It's on all the things that you might find a podcast, Spotify. And so it's just called Home Show Garden Pros, just like everything else. And so, that's what we do. We talk gardenings with pros like Meg. So Meg, great call on the compost. Okay, we have another question here from Russell Almeida. So, yeah. And so his question here is, I'm moving to a new property and I plan on planting a tree line. I think he means like a privacy sort of hedge line. I really like what I see when I drop my son off at school. Do you have any idea how I can duplicate that type of trees? How close? The location is at 610 going north and South Evergreen and 610 or Bel Air. Well, I can't remember that side exactly. I'm sure I'll drive by there. I live pretty close to there, but if I recommend any line of trees along a fence, I'm usually always recommending treeform hollies. East Palaka, Eagleston, and Savannah hollies are just some of my favorites. They're medium-sized trees. You can keep them, beautiful shape if you let them go wild, or you can keep them sheared. Birds love the berries. they're native-ish, so a lot of kind of like host butterfly are going to be on there. They're not going to defoliate, but they're going to keep getting those birds in, and they're just by themselves beautiful trees. So I kind of jumped on the hollies there. Meg, what's your take on anything you like for like a tree line along a fence?
I do like that holly. I do have that myself. I think it is very pretty. It's hard to say because I don't know the style. I mean, if you wanted to really do you could do that Italian cypress if you wanted to smush those all together and really make it where you couldn't see through. But I don't know. That's a certain style. And but the Vitex has been so pretty, and the red bud was beautiful. Mexican plum is, but those aren't. I mean, if I don't know if it's something that you need to give you coverage all the time, or if you just want interest along a fence.
I'm thinking that I'm remembering this tree now because I played softball at the Optimist Field pretty often. It's over there, and I think they're live oaks. And so the problem with live oaks is they grow a little bit slowly. And so if you want to do that, and you're going to be at this property for a long time, you're going to, how many years you think Russell would wait for reward if he planted live oaks today?
Russell's children will find it beautiful
when they're retiring from their jobs. So, okay, cool. So we've answered our 4 questions. We're going on to our 5th question now. Russell, hope that helps. Live oaks are what are there at that school. And I know just the one you're talking about. It's a really great school right by the Optimist Field in Bel Air. But those live oaks take a really long time to grow. And so if we can encourage you, Vitex is a great suggestion for a more meandering type. And there's always the hollies I'm talking about. So let's go on to our 5th prepared question. This one's from a return questioner. So here we go. Lauren says, those dang woolly bugs are back in our tree. It's not a bad infestation yet. I'm just now seeing them fly around, but sap isn't misting all over everything like it did last year. Maybe it's not sap. Honeydew? What'd she call me? All right. The tree is 25 to 30 feet tall. Pruning or treating each leaf is impossible. What can I do? I like this because you're about to say compost again.
No, I was going to say she's going to have to move. No, I think, well, I'm not going to say compost, but yes, compost. But you could get beneficial insects. Was it Arbico?
Nice.
Arbico Organics, I think.
Organics, yep.
Is a mail
That's
order,
right, Arbico Organics.
Arbico, yeah, ARBICO, I think, is a mail order place for beneficial insects. And I think, is it the green lacewing? I mean, it's basically your backyard. It's a jungle out there, literally, because if you bring in like lacewings, I think they do eat mealybugs, but then they do eat some young caterpillars. So it's hard to say. But if you go to that site, I think you can look and see what would suit you. But I think it might be lacewings, green lacewings.
Yeah, green lacewing. That's exactly. Oh, and there's a tree. So I was just thinking this is probably a water oak or an elm that they're dealing with because those are the ones you see kind of honeydew dropping the most. And so in this setting, you've got it, and it's going to have a pest infestation. It might be an acorn blight. It's same thing. It's a small little insect pest. And so getting a predator pest is a great way to go. When it comes down to it, spraying isn't the only way to do it. You can treat the soil. So trees have a very natural kind of resiliency. The shinier the leaf, that means that they basically are storing more protective fatty acids in their leaf setting. And so if you can increase the health of the tree, you can increase that. And so that's where compost comes in. In this situation, I really would encourage Lauren to put down, by Nature's Way Resources, they have a great thing called remineralizer. And it's like, I don't think, almost 80 different minerals that she could put down, and those roots will start to take them up, build back up that defensive mechanism that the tree already has naturally. So if I'm Lauren, that's what I'm doing. Another great kind of shortcut is hosing the tree down with molasses, the trunk and around the root area. A little shortcut there that will help speed up all the processes of health. But if she wants to build up the kind of immune system of the tree, she treats the roots with healthy soil and, in this case, compost. So,
and if you're going to put down food, like if you're going to put down the remineralizer. You put that first and then the compost on top, so you're not mineralizing.
That's what I would
the
do.
compost.
I would do that for sure. Yeah. I mean, it is fine if you go the other direction, but it's also something that I would do. So definitely cool. Well, I do want to do a quick public service announcement, show you guys a little something. So as you were doing your hurricane preparedness thing, I got this lamp. It's a little bulb. So it charges on the lamps you plug it into, but if the power goes out, it's got a little button on there and you can actually turn the light on that lamp. And so, Home Depot, Lowe's, they all have these, but as far as hurricane preparation, your actual lamp and the power you just have all the time is powering that thing. And it turns on and off on a light switch, just like you would a regular lamp, but it can have light when the power goes out. So that's just my public service announcement.
I liked it. Put it up here and then say, I've got an idea.
That's funny you said that. Mark said the same thing, the producer of the show. He said the exact same thing. So, and I'm pretty sure I've done that to my daughters multiple times, and they're like, Dad. Ooh.
Dad, please.
Anyway, okay. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Wait, do you know them? That's so amazing.
Exactly.
So we have a great video here because, a lot of times we're doing a lot of stuff outside and, maybe it's wise to kind of refresh a little bit on other things to do. So Sherry's got some great advice for us for Plants for All Seasons. Over to you, Sherry Hera. We all love seeing hummingbirds, and attracting them to your space is simple, but they don't only want red colors of one kind. They like a lot of different variety. Sherry brought a bunch of cool plants to kind of show us some things that hummingbirds are interested in.
Right. When I'm habitat gardening or hummingbird gardening, I like to plant a rainbow of different colors.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's fun, it's diverse, and you give them many options to keep them, interested in your yard.
So heights, flower shape, flower color, things like that all need to vary when you're making your habitat space.
Right.
Especially if you want hummingbirds.
Absolutely. So I brought a lot of different things here. Salvia is a really good hummingbird attractant because they have that long tube-shaped flower. And this is a Salvia greggii. Really strong perennial plant, good for our area.
Yeah, I have a bed of these up in, like a group of them up in my front bed.
Oh, they're gorgeous,
Yeah.
yes. This is Wendy's Wish. This is a new one. This one gets about 4 to 5 foot tall and wide.
That's awesome.
Hummingbirds love it.
Cool, you have Kufia here, a bunch of different types of Kufia.
Yeah, so the David Verity Kufia, it's got that tube-shaped flower. They love it. Those long beaks, they can get right down in there,
made for
get the
hummingbirds.
nectar out. Yep. Lantana is also a hot one for butterfly gardening and hummingbirds as well. Come in many different colors, height ranges, but very full of nectar.
Awesome.
And then you can't have a hummingbird garden without a hummingbird bush, right? Hamelia. And so the typical hamelia that we have gets really big and gets the orange flowers in the fall. This is a new variety called Lime Sizzle.
Yeah, that leaf is really interesting.
Very interesting, stays that bright color, and then it gets the orange flowers.
And you're saying it's kind of dwarfed.
More compact, so 3 to 4 foot tall and wide.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what plant, you're with plants and flowers all day long.
Yes.
So you see hummingbirds at the shop. What plant do they usually just go to straight away?
Right. The bougainvillea, which always just kind of amazes us that we see them just going crazy over the bougainvillea. But it's really cool because on the bougainvillea, a lot of people think the leaves right here are the flowers, but it's this tube-shaped flower that the hummingbirds just love.
That's perfect.
Very
That's so wonderful.
Yep.
Well, for more things like this and more great information, go to HomeShowGardenPros.com. Geez, how about a little energy, Dany? Wow. Oh, hummingbirds just give me so mellow, It's just crazy.
Did they film that at 4 o'clock in the morning? And did they wake you up and say, hey, we got to film this now?
No, I was just taking a nap and they're like, hey, it was just, that's the way it was. No, great information there from Sherry. Phenomenal stuff. We'd love to see more hummingbirds. And, a lot of times hummingbirds and butterflies love the same thing. So any great advice on bringing in the hummingbirds?
I did learn something just this week that I find fascinating about hummingbirds. They use spider webs to help make their nest. Isn't that interesting? So,
oh my gosh, yeah, that's so cool.
But that's how tiny they are. no, hummingbirds. It's actually, yes. So there's something that we have, the Garden Club of Houston has in conjunction with Katy Prairie Conservancy, and it's called Natives in the City. And it's what we're trying to get people to do is just plant some natives. You don't have to go all in and dig up all your beds and have this whole dedicated native plant area of your yard. Just plant them around, and it will help the birds, the bees, the hummingbirds, everybody. So it's Natives in the City, and we are at the Bulb Mart in October. We're selling. The goal is just to plant 9. It doesn't even matter 9 what, but 9 native things somewhere in your yard, and that's just to start. But so we're going to sell Natives in the City packs, PACTS, of 9 native plants that you can buy in a group, and you just plant them, sprinkle them around your beds. But yes, I have hummingbird. I love watching the hummingbirds. I can't think of the name of. Oh gosh, it's not it's not Pope hat. What is it?
Turk's cap.
Well, like Turk's cap thing. Pope hat. Yes, Turk's cap. Thank you. That's what I have.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. A fez is another name for that type of hat. Those are great plants, and I definitely see bumblebees, hummingbirds on those all the time. Really one of my favorite plants. Super hardy too, and they're pink, red, different sizes. Well, Meg, great job. I did want to let you know that we have Doug Talamay coming in. It's going to be a webinar with him in July. And if you want someone that really encourages you and motivates you to plant these 9 natives, Meg's talking about, Doug's presentation, Nature's Best Hope, is going to really motivate you to kind of get going and do a little bit more for those birds, bees, and butterflies. So, Meg, awesome job as always.
To Oba?
We're doing a webinar with them. I think it's our last webinar. Yeah, no, through Oba. You're right.
Through Oba. Okay. Oh, great. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, he's so great. He's so great. So if you guys want to do a special showing, let me know. We can do that. All right. So Meg, great job. So we got Bulb and Plant Mart coming up. June 15th is when pre-orders begin. We've got some website notes in the comment section, so you can kind of scroll back up and get to that. But man, they have great plants. They have native plants. They have beautiful bulbs. If you're not growing bulbs, Meg, tell them why they should grow bulbs.
You should grow bulbs because they're very rewarding. So they're generally not natives, which goes against everything I just said. But amaryllis are something that are so pretty that we live in the most magical place in the world that we can grow amaryllis in the ground. So you get you get an amaryllis bulb. It makes beautiful flower at Christmas time, and then you just put it in the ground, never touch it again, never think about it again. And it's green strappy leaves that are just pretty and kind of fill out some space. And then in the spring, every spring for the rest, for the next 15 years, a beautiful, beautiful 4-pronged flower will pop up. And I have just one whole bed that's nothing but amaryllis, and it's really fun because, like I said, it's just green and pretty throughout the year, but then in the spring, it's magical.
That is so wonderful. Well, thanks so much for being here today. Those of you who don't know us, come see our website, HomeShowGardenPros.com. A lot of fun, a lot of great tip videos, a lot of good stuff. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Meg Tapp, Madam President. And you guys get out there and garden.
Bye, everybody.